Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be recapping 90 Days Fiance Before the 90 Days, Season 2, Episode 6. So let's jump into it. So I feel like this episode, there was very happy moments in it and very sad moments, and then there were some couples that were very indifferent. So first I want to start off with, let's start with Angela and Michael. So, I don't understand, does Angela eat in Nigeria? Does she ever eat anything? Because it seems like she doesn't like any of the food. And I personally haven't had Nigerian food before, but I'm sure there's something that you'll like. Like, if you're into burgers and, like, pizzas, like, you'll be into something like cooked meat, I'm sure she would like. But it seems like everything she tries, she doesn't like. Here you can see, again, Angela's insecurities and what kind of the main topic of their fighting will be in the future. So they bring up the age difference again. So Angela's 52 and Michael is 30. It's a very big age gap. And one of the things that they're going to have to, I don't know, come across is the notion of bringing up kids, raising kids. Angela has 2 kids and they're grown. They have kids of their own. So she is not in the position to have a baby. Also with Angela's age, Angela is up there in age, trying to be a little sensitive, but it would be very hard for her to carry a baby or to have a baby naturally. So, and now you have to think about it from Michael's perspective. He's 30 years old. He's in like the prime. This is a time for him to settle down and start a family and things of that nature. And with Angela, that's not possible. She talked about the chances of an IVF treatment or even surrogacy, but that is way too expensive, and we know that Angela doesn't really have money. So that's really a no-go. And Michael explains in the confessions how it's a big issue for him because he comes from a culture where you get married and you have a big family, and Angela can't have children, so how would that happen? So that's why I think it wouldn't work out. It's one thing if Michael did not want to have children, but he does. It's Angela who can't have children, and I'm sure if she wanted children, they could make it work. But to me, Angela comes across as like she raised her children. She's living her life. She's living her best life now. Another problem that they were facing in this episode is the whole Angela's trust issues with Michael. So Angela can't trust Michael, and I can understand when you're dating someone in another country, you don't see them often, you're kind of taking them at their word, and you have your little like doubts. But Angela went through his phone, and I feel like if you trust someone, or if you're truly in love with someone, you want to marry someone, you wouldn't really have to be going through their phone. But she does anyway. She goes to the phone, and then she sees that Michael's following 1,000 women on Instagram, and at first she was going to say Facebook. I thought she was going to say Facebook, because then I've been like, oh, well, I'm not surprised he's talking to another girl and stuff, but like Instagram is all about pictures and living your best life and this like fake reality. And I follow Instagram models and pretty women and men on Instagram, and I wouldn't feel a type of way if like my boyfriend followed pretty models, men or women, on Instagram. He says that he's doing it to get his followers up or some nonsense like that, but he might just like looking at younger women. Like, Angela needs to get it out of her head that like Michael's a young guy, so he's still attracted to a young girl, or a young woman. And Angela is very, very self-conscious, and it shows, and it's gonna get really old because it's just always like, Michael, blah, 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 blah. And then Michael's like, okay, I'm sorry, and blah, blah. I don't feel like Michael gets to be his real self. Even if he's coming here for the green card and stuff, on those two problems alone, their relationship is not going to work out in the long run. So I'm done with them. Next couple I want to talk about, well, I really don't want to talk about, but we have to talk about them, is Darcy and Jesse. Darcy and Jesse are not together anymore, if it wasn't clear by this episode. I don't understand how they can stand each other, how they can look at each other, how can they talk to each other. They pick up where a whole steak and cutting a steak and like, Jeezy whip, like, I'm done with them. And but Darcy goes and drops off the kids because they can't have a peaceful dinner together for one night without fighting. And I feel like it's like they always say these little things to get under each other's skin, and then they start the conversation, and then they start arguing and whatever. They couldn't even like put up a front in front of the kids. So that's to tell you, like, they're really done with each other. The next day, I don't know if they slept in the same bed, and if they did, I don't even know how they could do that. Jesse claims that Darcy stepped on his shoe, and he got mad and said, like, you know, what are you stepping on my shoe for? And then Darcy said, like, fine, you can step on my shoe, and then took her Louis Vuitton and chucked it at his head. And he, I don't know, felt very scared enough to be talking about, this is assault, should I be calling the police, and being very extra about it. I don't know what to believe, because I can believe both scenarios of Darcy just tossing it by his feet and Darcy throwing it at his head, based on where they are in their life right now. But I don't even know why they tried to make it work. Like, they get mad, they argue, and they're trying to like do things together. Like, you guys are not good for each other, and I'm tired of seeing them argue. I'm done with this couple, and I'm so glad. I don't think they're gonna be back. I didn't. The part that made me laugh, which it shouldn't have made me laugh, was when they're doing they agreed to do the confessional, and they're sitting there, and Jesse's always talking about like what Darcy needs to do to fix herself, and even if that's true, like Darcy needs to fix A, B, C, and D. You have to admit to some stuff. It can't be like, I am fine and you are crazy. You need to fix yourself. There's always stuff that you can work on. So I don't know. I don't appreciate that. Like, Jesse only blames Darcy. Like, you need to do this stuff. You need to fix yourself. But I guess when they're kind of like doing like, I guess their last interview together, type of thing. Was it Jesse starts crying and stuff in his eyes? I started laughing. I know I shouldn't be laughing, but it just came off as so fake. Like, I was like, what is going on? Like, okay, stop it, Jesse. And Darcy, she dried eye. That was the first time I was like, it might really be over. And when they're arguing, when they're sitting down, and Jesse was like, fine then, break up with me. And Darcy's mouth was quiet. I was just like, Darcy, you're that type of girl where the guy needs to break up with you because you're gonna stick it out until he gets tired of you. When he said, fine, break up with me, I felt like that's when she should have been like, okay, it's over. But Jesse's in and out of the house, they're arguing throughout the episode, and then Jesse decides to go to a hotel. And I think that's for the best. I see there's a little bit of a segment with them next episode, but like, I'm glad that they're gonna be done. Okay, so let's go into our next couple, which had a more happier story, is Paul and Karine. So it's Paul and Karine's wedding day, and they're gonna get married. I love how the episode is summing up um, the past, and like Karini saying, I don't know if I want to get married, her father being very kind of apprehensive, and now it's like wedding day. TLC though needs to fix their editing, because clothing changes. Paul has his hair cut, and I could tell from the back he has like a taper cut when he's talking to Karini on the bed, asking her like, hey, like, are you okay, blah blah blah. And then like fast forward to his wedding, his hair is not tapered. So they gotta get their editing under control, because like to me it's not something that I could pick up easily on. But watching the show, I don't know, it's so easy for me to pick up on like, oh, this was shot then versus this was shot now, and I see what they're trying to do, but to me it looks like it doesn't look good. Anyways, so this is not going to be a very long segment with them, but it's Karini's wedding day. She's getting dressed. She looks very beautiful. I love her hair and makeup. She's that thick Brazilian hair. And her mom is obviously saying, you know what, I'm going to support you and I'm here for you, which I appreciated. So they're going to get married in this little, I don't know, this little room, the chairs and stuff. I don't appreciate that her dad couldn't put on a dress shirt or something. Like, he was wearing his regular Sunday t-shirt, and like her mom got dressed up and stuff. I didn't appreciate that. And then, so they're in the ceremony, and they're waiting for Karini to essentially like walk down the aisle. And it's been 30 minutes and no Karini. So Paul's kind of like, yo, what's going on? And why didn't the mom call Karini or talk to her? Like, they were acting like she like disappeared, like she was runaway bride type of thing, which I don't think, wherever she was, I don't think she was far from that ceremony. But they're just waiting for her and stuff, and I'm like, you tell me you couldn't ask the mom, like, hey, can you go and make sure she's okay and stuff like that. But eventually she does come. It was very, very beautiful the way they said their vows, and Paul speaking Portuguese and saying his vows. So they are now officially married. But they did announce in real time that they will not be doing any more TLC shows. So I was gonna suggest that they'll be on like Happily Ever After, but I don't think they would. But it was very beautiful, and then they had a boat party, which I was like, okay, Paul came down there with some money for a wedding, which looked really nice, and it was very beautiful, and it was a very nice celebration. So it looks like next episode they're going to be fighting again, but whatever, we'll just overlook that part for this episode. Okay, so let's get on to the next couple. Okay, we're going to talk about Tariq and Hazel. There really wasn't much of any story progression. TLC, once again with the bad editing, you have Hazel in that like checkered lumberjack shirt talking about when Tariq has asked her about this ex that was in the picture previously, and she said she admitted to him that like she did talk to her ex, but only because he has her wardrobe and her bed, and she wants it back. And Tariq is obviously not happy with that, and he told her, like, don't worry about it. I will pay for them. I will pay for those stuff. Just leave him alone. And once again, this episode, like, Tariq and Hazel are not for each other, because Hazel does not like him. I feel like Hazel has to put up with him. That's the only reason why she is seeing Michael. She wants a better life for her and her child. I don't fault her for that, but like the way she's doing it is pretty messy. And then Tariq needs to get his head out of the sand, because you can tell that Hazel don't want you. So, I don't know, he's just so oblivious because of her Angelina Jolie looks. I don't know, he can't be that shallow. But we have Ricky, so maybe he can be. Anyways, they decide to go and meet up with Dean. Again, I guess to kind of clear the air and stuff. I was also wondering why Dean decided to go with Tariq. I understand, like, he wants to be supportive and be there for his brother, but it is also his older brother, and, like, did you not know that you were going to be the third wheel? Like, this is someone that he wants to potentially marry and stuff. Like, I wouldn't go on a vacation with me and my boyfriend and invite my sister type of thing and then be like, oh, peace, we're off, we're doing our own thing, see ya. So, good for Dean being by himself, but being by his rude self, because he's still coming off as rude. And, like, I can understand that you're suspicious of someone, you want to question someone about their motives, but the way he goes about it is so rude. And I feel like I didn't appreciate when Hazel said, like, I forgot what she said exactly, but it was something like, well, like, Dean, I don't want Dean to be here because he's gonna mess with Tariq's mind, and I just feel like Hazel is playing Tariq like a fiddle. But you know what? That's none of my business. They showed a little bit of the Philippines. They said they're going to this island or this, like, getaway thing for both of them, which is good, because if she's trying to build a connection with them, she should at least, like, try, type of thing. And what was I gonna say? But they also bring up intimacy, which is none of Dean's business. They haven't done anything, and I feel like if she doesn't want to, they don't have to. She doesn't know this man. This man is not her husband. This man is not her boyfriend. This man is a stranger she met online. So if she doesn't want to sleep with him, she doesn't have to. So that's kind of all with them. There really wasn't much story progression. Okay, so let's go into the couple that makes me want to pull my hair out. Ricky and Jimena. So Ricky and Melissa don't exist anymore, so we're done with that. So it's Ricky and Jimena. And Jimena seems very likable, very fun, charismatic, nice girl. And this whole time, Ricky has this guilt kind of weighing down on him. He needs to tell Jimena that he originally came to Colombia to meet a girl named Melissa. The Melissa he thought was going to be the love of his life and the mother to his children. And Melissa ditches him, and to find out that when he was talking to Melissa, when she's getting dry with the texts, he started talking to Jimena, and Jimena was the one who was answering him back and in a conversation with him. I don't understand why he didn't, if he knew that, why he didn't see Jimena when she looked like she wanted to see him and had an interest in him, versus some girl that looked like an Instagram model. And it just goes to show how shallow he is. Once again, is Ricky made of money or something? He was shelling out money for Jimena as well. He said that she didn't directly ask him for money, but she indirectly asked him, was saying stuff like, oh, you know, my mom needs this, or I have to do this, and he sent her money. Well, at least she was very appreciative of it, and she showed her face, and she's kissing you up and being somewhat intimate with you. Unlike Melissa, took your money and then never saw you again, and laughing with her girls up in your face, talking about you're probably so dumb. So there's some things that you learn about Jimena, and she is, I guess, unemployed. She lives in a small, I guess, rural town, and she doesn't really have much money. She says she doesn't want kids, or to get married, but I think that would change. And Ricky thinks that the money he sent her, she got her nose done. And he just wants to make sure that, like, she's here for the right reasons, even though Ricky is building their relationship, their current relationship, on a lie. But that's none of my business. So Ricky sits down with her and, like, talks about, like, okay, I know I gave you the money. Where did the money go? I know you got a nose job. She said she got an injury. She broke her nose before. She had problems breathing. She decided to get it fixed, and plus she wanted it to look good. She spent the money on her mom, I guess her niece or nephews or something like that. So that's where the money went. And then Ricky was like, oh, okay, I believe you and stuff. I trust you. Yet he's still living a lie. They also talk about, and I don't understand when. I don't know if they were talking about, like, them in bed, but in some situation, Ricky ends up calling Jimena Melissa, which that's very grimy and sleaze, and I don't know, he's just a sleazebag to me now. But Jimena was like, who's Melissa? And then Ricky was like, oh, you know, it's the production crew. Ricky needs to man up. This is ridiculous. There's a part now where he's going to reveal the truth. He's talking about how he's trying to trust her, and he believes in her, and she's truthful, and yet he's telling a lie. So he picked the wrong time to tell her too, because they were, like, dancing in a club and, like, having a great time. That'd be, like, the weirdest place to be like, hey, you know, I've been lying to you the whole time about our relationship. But anyways, that's what he decides. And so she's like, okay, like, what do you want to tell me? And he's like, oh, so, like, I talked to my baby mother about our kid, and she was just like, yeah, that's fine, like, it's family, like, I'm fine with that. And he was like, oh, great, because I thought, like, Ricky, come on. If I was him, I'd have been like, what aren't you telling me? Because that was ridiculous. That excuse. The way that he was acting so nervous for it, what was she supposed to say? No, you don't talk to your baby mom. No, you don't find out how your kid's doing. Like, it's not ridiculous. So yeah, that's it with them. Okay, and then last but not least, I believe, I'm going to talk about John and Rachel. Yes. They were one of the happy couples. There really wasn't much to their story. You got to see a lot of the beautiful countryside of England. It looked amazing. Him spending time with Lucy. He's definitely getting better with taking care of her. He's acting less of a fob to daddyhood. And acting more of like, this potentially could be not necessarily like his child, because it's not biologically his, but this could be like the baby that I have to take care of for the rest of her life. Her life just started. It's nice to see that. You see Rachel and John together. They talk with her dad, I guess, to kind of reassure him that, like, hey dad, here's John, he's real, and he's not violent anymore, or he's not a violent person. He's, whatever things he had in his past are behind him, and we're ready to move on, and I'm happy. And I think that Rachel's father believes that, but it always, you know, back of a parent's mind, it's, I will support my child. I want my child to be happy, but, like, don't get it twisted. Anyhow, anything happens, it's me and you. Um, and it seems like her days are numbered. I don't know how long she's supposed to stay there, but it didn't seem long at all. And then John brings her to this, what is it, like a King Arthur's castle, and it was beautiful. It looked like a lot of stairs, I'm not gonna lie. It looked like your calves got a lot of workout that day because of the amount of climbing I saw. I loved the drone shots. It was very beautiful. And then John tells Rachel to like bend down, something about the wind, and I was just like, okay, that's weird. I didn't register it until like the end, until I saw he had the ring on his like finger, because I was like, why are they gonna talk randomly on the cliff? That's very dangerous. He has a kid there. That's kind of weird. And because she also, Rachel was also bent down too. I can understand if John bent down, but Rachel bent down too, so I was like, why are they having a conversation right here? But then I saw the ring, and he asked her to marry him, and I hate when TLC does these weird, awkward pauses, like she just took 2 minutes to make up her mind, and she obviously said yes. The ring looked... These people on this show pick out really nice rings. The ring looked beautiful. And so they were videotaping it and being like, hey, we're engaged now. And it's something that Rachel wanted. They have been talking for a very, very long time, so I could kind of see that versus like a Tariq or a Ricky, where I'm like, why the hell are you guys getting engaged? That's freaking weird. But they actually had a happy ending. So I'm happy for them. In the previews, you also see that we're introduced to a new couple, thank God, because that means Jesse and Darcy will be gone forever. I don't have to talk about them. I didn't hear much about the next couple because I hate looking at the previews, but we'll see what happens. I'm excited. So that's the end of my recap of 90 Day Fiance Before the 90 Days, Season 2, Episode 6. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
I'm just a dumb cunt, fucking sick and tired of it. Maybe I could